well, not share my screen, record. Then I'm going to share my screen. And I want somebody with a microphone to tell me when you can see this PowerPoint.
Yes, I can see it. It's pretty good.
Thank you. Okay, so
You're welcome.
if you guys were at, oh, it's still loading. Cool, but it's fun. If you guys were at my study session last week, this is the exact same PowerPoint, but I wanted to go over metabolism more in depth. So the first part is osmosis and tonicity and active transport, but I really wanted to focus on metabolism because for my exit ticket, and it's okay if y'all are confused, the exit ticket is a place to put it if you don't want to ask a question in class or if you're too nervous or anything, that's totally fine. But for my exit ticket, a lot of people were confused. So we're just going to back it all the way up. We're going to go all the way through metabolism and enzymes and go from there, okay? All right, so the first law of thermodynamics is that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred or transformed. So the first law is basically just saying that I can't like poof out energy, excuse me. So this is pretty self-explanatory because if I am completely tired, I'm exhausted, I can't just say I summon some energy and I'm just like the Energizer Bunny. I have to eat food or get some sleep or drink coffee or eat something sugary. I have to do something to get some energy. I can't just summon it, which wouldn't that be so good if you could? Like, that'd be a game changer, but it doesn't happen that way. Okay, now the second law says that with every exchange of energy, it increases entropy. So who can tell me what entropy is? Okay, so remember the example she gave with entropy was the bear and it eats the fish. So what happens to that energy? Will 100% of it go from the fish to the bear, or will some of it get lost in something? Okay, so entropy is the level of disorder. So entropy is basically just saying that nothing's perfect, and through any type of energy transfer, some of it is lost. So in class, you've done the bear-fish example. If a bear eats the fish, 100% of the fish's energy is not going to go directly to the bear. It's going to get lost in heat or lost in the environment. So this is basically just saying that nothing's perfect, which we all know is the case, right? Okay. All right, so what does the law of conservation of mass state? And you guys can put it in the chat if you don't want to talk. That's totally fine. Ooh.
Isn't it that like matter cannot be created nor destroyed?
Exactly. So again, that is pretty much exactly like the first law of thermodynamics. It's saying that I can't just poof some matter. That if I wanted to make a cookie, I have to get, well, let's be real, I ain't making no cookie that doesn't come out of a package. So I have to get the cookie dough to bake it. So I'm not just poofing a cookie. I have to get the cookie dough, put it in a pan to make the cookie. Okay? All right. Feedback inhibition. So feedback inhibition is just when the end product shuts down the pathway. So think of this like when you are in preschool or in kindergarten and you're lined up and you're going out to recess, the teacher will say, last one out, shut the door and turn off the lights, right? That's the same thing. So the last one, the end product, is going to shut down that whole pathway. So it's going to shut the door, turn off the lights, it's done for now. But that classroom is still there. So when recess is up, the little 4-year-olds can come in and the classroom's still there. It's still functional, but it was just shut down for a short amount of time. Does that make sense? Okay, so the whole function of this is that it is going to prevent waste. So you're not going to make more cupcakes than you need. So if you only need 5 lactose, so say you only need 5 lactase molecules, then you're not going to make 500. This is just the cell's way of saying, I am only going to make what I need and nothing more. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Now, on to catabolic and anabolic pathways. Y'all, this is very, very, very important that you word associate, okay? And I have some practice here on the next few slides, and then at the end, if we still have time, I'm going to do some more practice because I want this like chiseled into y'all's brains, okay? All right, so a catabolic pathway releases the energy. So it's like a slide. You whoosh, you release it. You break down complex molecules. So let's back it up to our biomolecule chapter. What was the process we used when we broke down molecules? So if you go from a polymer to 2 monomers, what process was that? Oh, come on. Started with an H. Hydrolysis. 100% right. Good job. Okay. So hydrolysis is a example of a catabolic pathway. So catabolic pathways are exergonic. They have a negative delta G. They're always spontaneous, and that's the one where the graph looks like a slide. Okay, so think of this negative delta G. The graph looks like a slide, so it has a negative slope. That's how I remember it, okay? Now, spontaneous, I think of this like stairs, okay? So say I just magically find myself in the middle of a staircase. I can't spontaneously fall down those stairs and not put any energy in it, but I'm releasing energy by yelling or something, right? So I can spontaneously fall down the stairs, really unexpected, really quick, it's just gonna happen. But I can't spontaneously climb the stairs. I have to think about it, I have to make my feet move, and I have to put in some energy, which is what happens in an anabolic pathway. So an anabolic pathway will consume some energy. So you have to start with energy. I'm sorry, guys. I have a stutter, and sometimes it's just out to play, and it's happening today. So just please ignore that. So it consumes some energy. It builds complicated molecules. So what, back in our biomolecule chapter, what was the word that we used for building complicated molecules? So if I wanted to go from 2 monomers to a polymer. Started with a D.
Dehydration synthesis.
Good job. All right. So The anabolic pathway is considered endergonic. Yep, that's how you say that. We're going to go with it. It always has a positive delta G, which think of that like a positive slope because the graph looks like a mountain. Okay? All right, and this is non-spontaneous. So think I have to put in thought, I have to plan, I have to put in some energy to climb the stairs. None of that happens when I'm just falling down the stairs. But to climb it, it takes planning, it takes some energy, it takes muscle movement, it takes a lot more. Okay? Does that make sense? The difference between catabolic and anabolic? Okay, well, let's test. You're giving this graph. What type of pathway is it? Anabolic. Good. Good job. I'm gonna move that up here. Okay, what type of reaction is it? So that's the exergonic or endergonic. Good job, y'all. All right, what's the sign on delta G? Good. Y'all are making me real happy. All right, spontaneous or non-spontaneous? Good, y'all, good. Okay, that makes me really very happy. Okay, now let's flip it to this. What is the metabolic pathway of this graph? Catabolic. Good. Okay, so I know this is confusing because you're like, wait, but there's a hump here. Okay, so what is this hump? This represents something.
The activation energy.
That's exactly right. Good job. So when determining if an overall reaction is catabolic or anabolic, look at the reactants, which is always over here, and the products, which is always down here. So in this case, the reactants are higher than the products. That's catabolic. In this case, the products are higher than the reactants. That's anabolic. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Because I know this is confusing because it does have a hump, but you're looking at the overall. This is still higher than this. Okay? All right, so what's the type of reaction? So is that exergonic or endergonic? Good, y'all. Good, good, good. Okay, what is the sign on delta G, and is it spontaneous or non-spontaneous? Good, 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 good. So it's negative. That's a sign on delta G because right through here you have a negative slope, and it's spontaneous. So remember, I can spontaneously fall down the stairs. Exactly. Y'all did really good on that. Okay. Now let us move on to the thing that confused 90% of the class, and it's totally understandable because we are kind of having to learn an opposing concept to what we just learned in diffusion. So equilibrium is bad in a metabolic pathway. If the system is at equilibrium, it is dead. Okay? Now, in diffusion, there was like an equal exchange and blah, blah, blah. No, that doesn't happen here. If a system is the equilibrium, it's dead. Because we need a constant flow. So the reactants will either constantly be making the products, or the products will be constantly broken down. Something will be happening at all times. If not, it's dead. Like, rest in peace. Okay? So that means that, just like I said, a cell needs constant flow in and out at all times. Does that make more sense to you all? Okay. Is there any questions about this?
So is equilibrium like always bad? Like it always means they're dead?
For a metabolic reaction, yes. When we're talking about diffusion, no. But for a metabolic reaction or a metabolic process, yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And I know that's why it's confusing, because especially now, osmosis will be on the same exam as metabolism. So you kind of have to put in your head which one is bad and which one is good. And I was trying to figure out a mnemonic, but I couldn't. So with osmosis, equilibrium is good. With metabolism, equilibrium is bad. If any of you guys find a cool mnemonic for that, please email me and let me know, and I will totally steal it. Okay? Okay. All right, so here's another kicker. Activation energy. So this is the initial energy needed to start a reaction. So this is the speed bump. Okay, so a speed bump is only at the beginning. So say you're parked on campus and you are driving home. Say you live down in Kanawha City. You're going to have a speed bump on campus to make sure that you're not going over, 15? So you're going to have those speed bumps. They're going to be there to kind of slow you down and to be like, nope, you can only go this fast. You have to make sure that, like, you're going the speed limit or you'll get a ticket or whatnot. But then once you turn on to McCorkle, are there any speed bumps? Is there just a random speed bump in the middle of McCorkle Avenue? No. So once you get off campus and away from the speed bumps, you're free flying. You're good to go. Follow the speed limit safely, but you don't have to go 15 miles an hour. Okay, so that's what's happening here. You have to get over your speed bump, which is the activation energy, and then you're free flying. You're good to go once you get over that. Okay, so a way that you can overcome this activation energy is by absorbing heat. So the blue line is the activation energy non-catalyzed, and the red line is a catalyzed version. So heat is an example of a catalyst, but heat is not always readily available in the environment. So we have different types of catalysts that can speed up reaction by lowering the activation energy. So it's going to lower the blue line down to the red line. So not as high as speed bump. So maybe instead of going 15 miles an hour, now you can go 25 miles an hour. The speed bump's still there. You still have to get over it, but you can go a little bit faster. So another very important thing is that a catalyst is not consumed at the end of the reaction. So at the end of the reaction, the catalyst just goes on its merry way. Think of the catalyst like your car. Okay? You are going to get in your car, drive it to your house, and then you're going to get out of it and you're going to go on and you're going to do stuff, but your car is still going to be there. It's still going to be exactly how you left it. It's not going to disappear after one ride. It's a constant. Okay? And a catalyst does not affect the delta G. So if it was a catabolic reaction before, it's still a catabolic reaction. If there was a number, which she will never give you a number, but say the delta G was -10 without a catalyst, it'll still be -10 with a catalyst, okay? All right, so what is an example of a catalyst? Oh, I heard a notification. Could be a real life example, but it's something that we talked about a lot in class today. Started E, enzyme. Good job. Good job. So yep, that's exactly right. All right, so now we're going to move on to enzymes. So a specific enzyme can only catalyze a specific reaction. So if an enzyme is specifically made to catalyze reaction A, it can't catalyze reaction D. It can only do the reaction it was made to do. So the substrate is like the reactant. It's what you start with. It's what you want to make your product from. So that substrate is just the reactant that binds to an enzyme. The active site is the region on an enzyme where a substrate binds. So it's just that part of the enzyme that is like conformed to bind the substrate to. So the active site lowers activation energy by straining the bonds, providing favorable microenvironment, covalently bonding, and orienting the substrate properly. So those are the 4 ways that it kind of lowers the activation energy. Okay? Any questions about this stuff? Okay, well, let's test it. All right. Who can tell what A is? This little black bean looking thing.
Enzyme? Is that the enzyme?
Yep, that is the enzyme. So what's B? That is the yellow part. It's where C binds to the enzyme.
Active site?
Active site. Good job. So what's C?
Substrate?
Substrate. Good job. Okay, so the reaction proceeds like this, and then what's going to happen is the enzyme is going to like spit the substrate out, and then it makes the product. So this is the finished product. Okay? Does that make sense? That is a version of what she wanted y'all to draw for the in-class activity, because I know a lot of people were confused with that. Okay, so these slides are things that we did not cover, but they will be fair game for bonus questions. So do you guys want me to go over them, or do you want me to just send the PowerPoint out with the slides? Because I do want to kind of quiz y'all and ask some questions and just have like a powwow session right after. So I'll let you all decide. Do you want me to go over them, or just send out the slides with the information? Send out the slides? Okay. Do I have somebody to second that? Just one person to second it, and then we can move on. Second. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. So I am going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to send the slides out, but just want to kind of ask y'all some questions, see how y'all are getting the material, stuff like that. Real quick, I want to take a photo of the attendees in case you all want to head out, but I highly recommend not heading out. But that's your choice. Okay, so say the only thing I tell you about a reaction is that it has a positive delta G. What is everything that you could tell me from just knowing that it has a positive delta G?
It's non-spontaneous.
Okay, good. It's anabolic, perfect. It's endergonic, good. Good, y'all. Okay. That is fantastic. Okay, so what would an example be? If she said to give an example reaction, would it be dehydration synthesis or hydrolysis? Exactly. Y'all got this. Okay. All right. Okay, so if she says that delta G is, all right, so say that she says no, I'm so sorry, I can't speak English today. All right, so if delta G is negative 25 without an enzyme, what is the delta G of the same reaction with an enzyme? So it's negative 25 without an enzyme. What is it with an enzyme? Exactly. Perfect. Exactly. So the number or the magnitude of the delta G does not change with an enzyme. That is absolutely, y'all are making my heart so happy. Okay, last one, and then I'll let y'all go because it's Monday night and we all already need a break, okay? All right, so say I tell you that, okay, let's make this hard. I tell you that an example of this is hydrolysis. What's everything that you can tell me about this metabolic system? An example is hydrolysis. Good, so it's catabolic. What else can you tell me? Spontaneous and exergonic, good. What about the delta G? Negative. Y'all are doing fantastic. Negative. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so that's all the main questions I just wanted to hit on. You all are free to leave. I'm going to stop recording, but if you want to stay around and ask me questions, I'll hang out for a little bit. You guys did super awesome today. I'm super proud of you guys. Do not forget to email me. I know I'm no longer a tutor, and that could be discouraging, but I'm still here for you all. Anything you need, you can email me. I'm always here. I just can't tutor because junior year is a pain. All right? All right. You guys have a fabulous night, okay?